الحمد لله ما دام الوجود له حمدا يبلغنا منه الرضا أبدا ثم الصلاة على المختار سيدنا وآله الكرماء وصحبه الزهداء الحمد لله ما دام الوجود له حمدا يبلغنا منه الرضا أبدا ثم الصلاة على المختار سيدنا وآله الكرماء وصحبه الزهداء يا رب هيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا وانشر علينا من الستر الجميل ردا وافتح لنا منك فتحا غير منقطع واجعل لنا فرجا وابعث لنا مددا وسهل الصعب من خير الأمور وكن لنا معينا على الطاعة مستندا ولا تكلنا إلى تدبير أنفسنا فالنفس تعجز عن إصلاح ما فسدا الحمد لله ما دام الوجود له حمدا يبلغنا منه الرضا أبدا ثم الصلاة على المختار سيدنا وآله الكرماء وصحبه الزهداء أنت الكريم وقد وجهت يا صمد إلى عطائك وجها سئلا ويدا وللرجاء ثواب أنت تعلم فاجعل ثوابي دوام الستر لي.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So I wasn't very specific as to what you wanted. You understand the letter I received. So I wanted to hear from you what you wanted, what your visit, the purpose of your visit.
We are sorry about that.
Now.
So we think we are going to take correction into So what we actually want is that according to the Prophet Muhammad, he said visiting the sick world is one of the recommended sunnah which are expected the Muslim believers to do. It's just that we neglect our actions. So this is one of the things we want to accomplish. Then secondly, we shouldn't just come alone without in fact learning a lot from the workers here, because there are a lot to learn. So last time when I received a call from one of the workers, he said, what do we want as an orientation? Then we talked about drug abuse. Because we have noticed that most of people have engaged themselves in this act, but they doesn't actually know about it. Some maybe due to the prescriptions being given, but they will be thinking that due to my health status, if I take it more so that I can have a but at times is drug abuse. So that is why we want to have enlightenment about that issue.
Okay. So Alhamdulillah. So maybe we just now that I understand clearer what the purpose of your visit is. So it's two things. You want to get an orientation and then you want to visit patients. Abi?
Yes.
Those are the two things, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for the first part we can just do quickly. Then after that I'll make arrangements so that you can have access to some of our patients. I think the only group that we will be able to grant you access is those that are here for rehabilitation, because those are the ones that can give us permission. We need patients to give us consent for you to see them. Do you understand? We have to get from the patients themselves. The other patients in the other wards, because of how mentally unstable they are, they may not be able to give consent. You understand? They won't be able to give us their own direct consent that you can see them. Do you understand? We as a hospital don't have the right to just take people to see them. Do you understand? We don't have that right. The law in the country doesn't give us that right. So, but the only patients that we have that are stable enough that can give us that consent is those for rehabilitation. So I'll reach out to the head of the ward to discuss with them before we finish our little discussion. Is that okay? إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من حمده ونفسه ونفسه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, you're most welcome to Federal Neuro-psychiatric Hospital, Kaduna. Today is the 17th of April, inshallah. So, well, you have come to the home of mental, neurological, and substance use disorders treatment, their management in Kaduna, or should I say even in north-central, northwestern Nigeria. So our hospital is actually a tertiary hospital, a tertiary level federal hospital where we are supposed to see specialist care. We deliver specialist care for people with mental disorders, neurological problems, mainly illnesses that affect the brain. So that is our primary area of specialty. Now among them, these disorders are a very wide group of disorders, you understand, or conditions or illnesses that affect the brain. The brain is like any organ in the body, just like the heart, the leg, the intestines, the liver, the kidney. The same way the brain is an organ of the body. Now we call it the king because it is what controls every other part of the body. That is what the brain does. So when the brain can actually fall sick the same way any other part of the body can fall sick. When it falls sick, it manifests the sickness in various ways, in many different ways. It can manifest in problems with the thinking. The person's thinking may be problematic. Either the thoughts become too much, or they become too small, or the kind of thinking is abnormal, is not normal, or the thinking or the thinking is not controllable. That means the person cannot control the thinking. Different ways that it can manifest in thinking. Second group of problems, ways that brain illnesses can manifest is in problems with emotions, how you feel. You know our feeling, isn't it? Feeling happy, feeling sad, feeling fearful, feeling calm, at peace, all those things, the way we are feeling, our emotions. That's the second part that is very important that the brain also controls. So they can, when there's a problem in the brain, it can manifest as problems with those emotions, how we are feeling. Now the third way it can manifest is problems with behavior, with the way people are acting. Do you understand? The way you act, what you do, how you talk, how you express yourself, how you interact, whether you bath well, whether you dress well, whether you do. So all those, the way our actions, things that people will see on the outside, isn't it? The way we behave. Now the brain, when there is a problem in the brain, there's an illness with the brain, it can manifest as problems with behavior. There are some types of illnesses in the brain that can come with all these areas affected. It can affect, the same illness can affect the thinking, it can affect the emotions and affect the behavior. For some, it will only affect the emotions. For some, it will only affect the thinking. For some, it will affect the thinking and the behavior, but it will not affect the emotions. For some, it will affect emotions and the thinking, but it will not affect the behavior. So it can come in any combination. I hope we understand. Now, I'm just giving this a prelude before I go into substance abuse, isn't it? Now, as I mentioned, we categorize substance abuse. Substance abuse is a social problem, isn't it? We look at it more as a social problem. But for us in mental health, we look at it more as a brain illness. We don't look at it as a social problem alone. We look at it as a brain illness. Why? Because it's a problem that starts in the society, but now affects the individuals that use the substance, isn't it? That use the substances. Now, what we know as the statistics or the research in Nigeria is that over 14 million people in Nigeria, young people, are using substances. This is if you remove cigarettes, you remove alcohol. Abi, Nigeria will have a population of over 200 million. Abi, that's the estimate. Then, in fact, the statistics are from 2019 saying that we have about 13% of the Nigerian population, 13 to 14% of the Nigerian population, young people are using psychoactive substances. Not just cigarette and alcohol. They are using cannabis. They are using opioids. Do you understand? They are using D5, Valium, Tramol, codeine, Ngomiri, Loud, all these other substances. Now, this is very worrisome to us because if over 14 million of our young people are using substances, that means out of every 7 young people, one person is using. It's very, very damaging. A large chunk of our youth is going into substance use, and we know how substance use changes the way the brain works. So, and then when the brain changes, it leads to a problem that a person might not be able to live a productive life. And so this means that even our future is at risk. Not just our children, our grandchildren, the future is at risk. And at the rate we are going, with the increasing statistics, the 1 in 7 is for just young people, all young people when you combine women and men. What we know now is that among every 4 people that are using substances, 1 of them is a woman, 1 is a female, out of every 4. So by the time when you cast your mind to that your neighborhood, that sometimes when you are passing, you see those boys, Abi, you see them 10 of them, you just turn your head. Best case scenario, you do an astaghfirullah, Allah shiriya this, isn't it? That's what we do. So imagine those 10 boys that you are seeing. There are about 3 girls that are hiding somewhere. This is very, very serious because if women are using it, it's even more problematic than men. We all know a woman is educate a woman, educate the nation, isn't it? And you know what that means? The woman is the root of the family, and the society is built by the units of the families, isn't it? So it's a major, major, major problem, and we are very, very worried about it. And that's why we always we are very happy when we get groups, people that have access to people. Do you understand? We can't do it alone. We can't go out and want to educate everybody, help everybody. We cannot do it. We are overwhelmed. We have a lot of work to do here. So we need groups like you to come, understand what the issue is, and go out and help us. Find a way to help us to communicate. Some of us prefer to focus on prevention. People that are not using, let them not start using. Those that are using, let's try and do treatment for them as soon as possible before it gets out of hand. That's our goal. You understand? Because treatment is a lot more complicated, more expensive, more difficult, and more unavailable. In this our hospital, we know the number of people we see that come in with substance use. They have substance use problem. They want to stop. They want to stay and do the treatment. But the treatment is expensive. How many people can afford it? Our admission now costs about 400,000 for a person to come in for rehabilitation. It costs about that because we feed the person for 4 months. You know how expensive food is now, isn't it? Imagine depositing money to feed somebody for 4 months straight. You have to drop it today before we get the person to the hospital. And the person is going to be on medication. Do you understand? So to pay for that admission is not affordable to a large number of people. So we focus on prevention, as I said. Now for us to prevent, we need to know what are the factors, isn't it? Who are the people that are likely to go into substance use? Abi? Who are the people? Now, the cause of substance use, we look at it in different levels, multiple factors. That's how we look at it. Multiple things come into play. Do you understand? Before a person might start having a substance use problem. So the first set of factors, we say they are biological factors. Biological in the sense that they are inherent. The person is born with those risks. Do you understand? Not something that the person acquired. For instance, we know that biologically, people that are born, that their parents use substances. Do you understand? Maybe they use alcohol. The father was an alcoholic. Those people, it's like they inherit some of the genes in the liver code or the enzymes in the liver that will metabolize alcohol. There are some people that they can take alcohol, take plenty, and they will just be kakaraka, isn't it? Some will take a small pint and they will scatter. Now, what some of the things that affect that is the individual differences in their of the enzymes that metabolize the alcohol. For instance, there are some people like Asians. There's a particular group, they can't take alcohol because they inherit a particular gene that stops their body from breaking down alcohol very well. So when they take alcohol, it becomes poison inside their body because their liver cannot break it down. Do you understand? It becomes poison in their body and it causes a terrible reaction. So the same way a person can inherit the one that would discourage one or will not allow one to use the alcohol, for instance, it's the same way some people, they inherit the one that they can take the alcohol plenty and their body will metabolize it and they will enjoy it and they will have a problem. Do you understand? Some other things we also know is that even if a person, for instance, the person that fathered the individual, immediately after he fathered him, let's say maybe he died, he used to drink alcohol heavily, he now died, but he fathered the child. The child never grew up with the father. He didn't even relate with him at any point, he never saw him. Those people, they are more at risk to have substance use problems later in life. They may become substance users too, compared to those that were born from fathers that never used any substance. So we know there are biological factors. I've given the example of the liver. Isn't it differences in the liver? There are so many things that are biologically, how would I say, we inherit them. We are born like that. There are some, like risk taking. Risk taking, I don't know how, in Hausa gagara, yaro ne gagara. Those children that you see, everything they want to see what is inside. They want to know. They are very inquisitive, they are always taking risks. They are always in one trouble or the other. Now, people that do that, that have that, isn't it? It's a personality trait actually, because it's like in the person's character. Abi? Now, sometimes when parents were like that, children can also inherit some of those traits. And those people are also more likely to start using substances. Because if everything they want to see, they want to know, they want to feel what is inside this thing, they are more likely to experiment, isn't it? By the time they see somebody doing it, they say, what is inside that thing? I want to see, I want to test it. So there are a lot of factors biologically within us, do you understand, the human body, that is kind of beyond our control. It's not something we can, do much about. A person inherited that risk. However, inheriting the risk is not the same as saying a person must become a substance user. No. Other factors come into it. That is where we say nature versus nurture. Nurture is the environmental factors. How the person is raised. What kind of upbringing. Did they have security, accommodation, people to protect them? Were they well guided? Were they educated? Those are all external factors that can influence that biological risk the person inherited. You understand? I hope you get it. The second part is the nurture. Now, the nurture, we categorize them into two. We look at we call them social factors. Social factors, things that are outside of the individual, but they have an effect on the individual. How the individual turns out. Now, the first social environment everybody has is what? The family, isn't it? Because we are born into our families. That's our first social world that we know. Now, there are some family factors that we know. People with substances, they are more likely to have those problems within the family. Do you understand? For instance, broken homes. Do you understand? Broken homes. Whatever age, especially if it's in childhood, children that grow up away from without the security of both parents. Because having both parents, having a mother figure and a father figure, is very, very essential for the mental well-being of every individual. In that early childhood, that security, the attachment and the bonding with the mother, very important. The guidance and reassurance of the father, that the father supports and provides, very, very essential for the well-being the self-esteem, self-worth, confidence, security of an individual as they grow up. So we know that people that have substance use problems, they have more of family problems. You find either that the parents were not together, or maybe they were even born not in wedlock, or the parents separated at a very young age, or some family disruption very early in life. Other things, they will have the family that's still together, but there is problem in the family structure. We all know households where you see that the father is supposed to be the head of the family, the mother is supposed to be the partner or the augmenter or supporter, or it's the other way around. Or you find that no, the children are the parents in the house, isn't it? When there are these kinds of dysfunctional families, the children are more likely to go into substance use. Why? Because it's not supposed to be that way. Children need that order, they need structure, they need hierarchy, they need consistency as they are growing up. For a person's mental health to be okay, we all need things like that. We need those structures and things like that. So when there are family problems, another thing we've also observed sometimes is, well, even though this is not replicated in many countries abroad, but especially for us locally in African settings where we have families with many children. You know, abroad you see they have those 1 child, 2 children, 3 children maximum. But here we tend to have more children. So we've noticed that people that are either the firstborns or the last one in the family. Firstborns, eldest. It doesn't have to be the eldest, but maybe the eldest male, the first male child in the family. So he may be the fourth one, but if the older ones are all ladies, then him, the first son, last son. Those ones, we see more of them with substance use problem. Or only being the single, the only gender. For instance, all boys, only one girl. Or all girls, only one boy. Do you understand? We tend to see more of them going into substance use. And it's not perfect for you to work it out. When the person is the only gender, the other parents, for instance, is an only son, the father may become too permissive toward that particular child because you feel like, I'm my only son, no, this one is the one that will inherit me. Or the mother may be too permissive toward that son, my only son. You understand that kind of? The same thing with fathers and girls. If it's an only girl, you'll be like, no, this is my favorite. So this one, anything she does is okay. So I'm going into parenting style. The style of parenting too can lead people to have mental problems, including substance use. Children that are raised in permissive parenting, we call it permissive, where anything the child wants, she cannot is okay. Whatever the child wants, she cannot is acceptable. Whatever palaver the child brings, the parents will clean it up. It's okay. In fact, they will be begging the child, begging the upset. Yes, don't be upset. I delayed in clearing all these problems. When the parents are too permissive, everything will just allow the child to do anything. No control, no restrictions, no laws, no rules. That's one problem. The second type of parenting that can also lead to increased risk, we call it neglectful parenting. Neglectful. Do you understand? The parent doesn't really know anything about the child. They are not involved in the child's life. They don't know. They don't really care. Do you understand? It's as if the child is just living his own life. They are living their life. You will see this nowadays with working parents. Do you understand? Working parents. Or parents that are very wealthy. They think that just you buy them iPads, give them TV, they go to school, you just give them everything in these luxuries in life, as if that can substitute that human contact, that parent contact. So neglectful parenting, another problem. Or if not the rich one, the very poor people, where you see that a child can go out from 5 a.m. in the morning. In fact, the father doesn't even know when the child is sleeping. So they are in Yawa. He has 30 children, he only has 2 rooms. Where are all the 30 children supposed to sleep? He doesn't know who has eaten. He doesn't even know whether they are going to school. There are too many. Do you get? The third kind of parenting, we call it authoritarian. There is the other one that we call authoritative. Authoritative is the kind of parenting we say, achiza ahura. You are strict when you need to be strict, and you are permissive when you need to be permissive. You can be nice, you are approachable, you are this. That's the healthy parenting. But the authoritarian is like dictatorship, like soldier. Everything is just no. The child cannot say anything. The child cannot have any opinion. They cannot have nothing like any empathy. Sitting down, really hearing the child, involving in that. It's just one-way traffic. The father will just give instructions. The child must obey. If he does anything other than that, it is corporal punishment, beating, panel beating. You understand? The ones that they will be using razor blade to cut the child just as punishment because the child went and misplaced 5 naira that they sent him on errand over. There is none that we have not seen. We have seen them in this person. We see them almost every day. So these kinds of parenting, all of them can make people more likely to go into substance use. I talked about experimentation, isn't it? People that are inquisitive and things like that. But we all know that part of youth, part of growing up, is that inquisitiveness, isn't it? It's part of youthful exuberance. For you to just be curious, what is inside this? Let me check, let me see what is there. And remember, you have friends and colleagues that will be telling you small things about these things. I want to it is like this, it's like this. I say, I need to die, kaza. So there is that youthful exuberance that is normal for any adolescent, and which is why it is a very sensitive period. That adolescence. Our studies in Nigeria show that most people that use substance, they started using around 11 years of age. 11 years of age. They are not waiting till they get to 15, 16 years old. 11 years. It's really scary. Because 11-year-olds, they are just in JS1, primary 6, isn't it? Most people that use substance in adults. So some of them will still be in primary school. They're the ones, it's that age that most people start using substance. And it usually coincides with puberty. That adolescence. If it's a girl, that's the time she's growing into a woman. If it's a boy, that's the time he's beginning to grow. Do you understand? He's feeling like a man. His friends are influencing him. His attention has now shifted from home. He's now always out with friends, playing ball. He wants to spend all his time with his friends. Isn't it? So, and that's why the social environment plays a major role in substance use. Other social factors that sometimes can be a bit above us or something that we can't really do much about. Security. When there's insecurity, places that have violence, you understand? Like during that Boko Haram crisis, there was a real boom in people using substances. Because everywhere was chaotic. Everybody was for himself. Family structures were disrupted. No families together. No school for people to go to. No activities. Do you understand? To engage people. And attacker in a locality, everybody was just looking for survival. And substance use, then the market for substance use actually grew. In that northeast, plenty people made money. Dealers, they made a lot of money during that time. The same thing with COVID. During COVID, drug dealers in Nigeria made a lot of money. They made a lot of money during that time. Because there was a disruption in society. You understand? The world, the country, everybody was on edge. There was no peace. Do you understand? So these factors can all have an effect on substance use. They can increase the chances of people using substance because some people use it to cope. They are angry, they are upset, they are frustrated, they are anxious. They are just looking for any way that they can have some peace of mind, forget their problems. Imagine somebody that goes out of the house because his family, the father and mother are fighting every single day. It is to box each other and insult each other. Do as if they are going to kill each other. The parents, they are doing their drama work. The 16-year-old boy that is witnessing this thing every single day, and he can't do anything about it. He goes out usually to go and smoke weed so that he will forget all the palaver that the parents are doing. Then now there is lockdown in town, and you have told him that he has to stay in that same house with the father and mother fighting every day. Remember, during that time we also had a surge in domestic violence. Couples were killing each other, they were fighting. So when you hear those stories, imagine the children that were witnessing what was going through their lives. So imagine that boy, you are not telling him to stay at home to witness this thing every day. He has no escape. He can't run away from his house. He can't go to his friends. What will he do? He will resort to the cannabis. He will increase the amount he's taking so that he's always dazed. He's always high to get away from his problem. In some way, I have introduced some of the other social problems, isn't it, that can lead people to using substances. Some, it is from abuse, not witnessing abuse among their parents, but them being the victims directly. Sexual abuse, very, very common in our society. Very, very, very common. Girls, 33%, 33, 1 in every 3 ladies, 1 in every 3 ladies in our society now reports that at one point in time in her life she was abused or she was sexually assaulted in some way. Maybe she was forced to look at something that she didn't want to look at, something sexually provocative, or somebody said something to her that she didn't want to hear. She didn't invite it, but somebody intruded into her privacy and made sure she heard it. Or no, somebody touched her inappropriately. She didn't invite it, she didn't want it. Not even that, beyond that, cousins, brothers, we see it every day in this place. Every day you hear stories. They'll bring a girl, she will tell you that it is my cousin that you grew up together with in the same household. No, it is a brother, same father, different mothers. We have seen it. Who assault the girl. Different things. A large number of these things can traumatize a young person at a very young age. And then in a bid for the person to cope, just to cope, because they can't talk about it. Imagine if it is brother, same father, different mothers. If let's say her mother is the younger wife and the boy's mother is the older wife. Imagine if the girl now comes and says it. Imagine the calamity that will follow in their house. Abi, if her mother takes it up, she will now fight with the first wife, the mother of the son. Abi, and the mother of the son will say, now you are accusing my son without any evidence. You want my son to lose favors from her husband. That's why you are doing this. And the children, the girl knows that this is what will happen. So she will keep quiet. She will not tell anybody. She will keep quiet. She will keep it inside her, and it will continue to eat at her inside her soul. And because she can't tell anybody, she's even ashamed to tell anybody. It happened maybe when she was 6 years old or 8 years old. But she can't tell anybody. She's now 15, 17, 20. She can't tell anybody. But she's carrying that body alone. She will start looking for an outlet. She will look for an outlet. And the easiest outlet, because in the society, drugs are readily available everywhere. You just need to look. You just need to look. Here, if you go out of 5 minutes is too long, sir. I can just go across the road here and come back. In 5 minutes, I'll get drugs for you, if you want. It is everywhere. Go in our place, everywhere. Never you deceive yourself that there's no drug in my neighborhood. It is a lie. Everywhere. And anybody that is a drug user, they know where to find. Give them 5 minutes when they get to any new area. 5 minutes they will find it. If they want to find, they will find drugs because it is ubiquitous. Go in everywhere it is available. I don't want to. I think we need to move beyond this. These are just some of the causes. You understand? But as I said, it's a combination of factors. You can't say it's only one thing. So you might find an individual. Maybe the father was a substance user. He grew up with the father still using substance, the mother and the father always fighting, or the father not really being there. He was absent in his life. Do you understand? Then he grew up in the neighborhood. The children were always laughing at him. Your father is an alcoholic, a drug user. Yeah, person's son. You know they will say it. They will have the boy, isn't it? They will damage his self-esteem. He will grow up without any confidence. By the time he gets to around, 10 years, 11, 12. You now start to want to be with friends. He wants to identify with them. He wants them to see him as an equal. He wants them to accept him. But he has these insecurities. Somebody may now tell him, I beg, if you take this thing, you'll be very bold, you can face anybody. And he will take it. If he now takes it and his body enjoys it, his brain enjoys it, chicken, what will stop him from going back to what we do? Now that is where we can now come. You understand? what are the things that we can see very early to pick the signs that this person will be entering into drug abuse, isn't it? Because there are signs. Most parents, you will hear that it's in retrospect, you understand, in hindsight, like, oh, so this boy actually started a long time ago, but they didn't. Small things. Remember what I said about thoughts, about behavior, about feelings, isn't it? Those are the effects. Any substance that when you take it in the body, it can go to the brain and affect the brain in these functions. We call it a psychoactive substance. Whether it is prescribed in the hospital, whether it is on the street you get it, whether it is local concoction, whether it is herbal preparation, whether it is traditional, no matter what it is, so long as it goes to the brain and can affect the brain, the way the brain works, in its thinking, in its feeling, in its behavior, then we call it a substance, a psychoactive substance. So if a person starts using, imagine if it now affects the, let's say, the behavior. It may manifest as either the child being sleeping too much or not sleeping at all, or you see the person will be restless, the pain, the cow, nothing is always on edge, isn't it? No, cannot relax. You send him on errands, he's evading eye contact, he cannot look at you in the eye because maybe he has taken cannabis, his eyes are red, he doesn't want you to see. Or you see him, he starts wearing dark glasses inside the house. Or he's always carrying tom-tom, always leaking tom-tom. That's what they do. They take a lot of tom-tom, this high, and mint. They take a lot of mint. They take it to kind of douse the smell of if they're taking weed or if they're taking cigarettes or alcohol. They don't want you to perceive the odor, so they will take something. But if you're very perceptive, you'll be able to perceive the odor separate and the smell of the sweet separate. You'll be able to discern the two. So it's very important for you to recognize your own word. If it's your brother, you know the way he used to be before, and now he's changing. Maybe he's now neglecting his personal hygiene. Before you know him as somebody, you will not find his clothes. Maybe once a week he will wash all his clothes, he will do his laundry. Then the night he will iron his clothes. But now, he will take 2 weeks. He will pile all the kind dirty. You ask him to sweep, he will not sweep. You ask him to mop, he doesn't want to do. So once there are changes in a person's behavior, that is one of the signs. It's left for you now to explore why. Why is this person like this? Why is he changing? Other things you may observe will include maybe excessive spending of money that you give them, or they start skipping school, or they start avoiding some things, expenses. For instance, you usually give him money for transport, but the place is trekking. It's not that you trek with suffering. You give him transport, you now see that he's no longer, he won't climb the keke, he will trek. Do you understand? Those are some of the things you need to ask. You need to question what is going on, what are you doing with money? That kind of thing. Those are usually the earliest symptoms you see. They will be changing appetite, changing sleep, changing behavior, changing interaction, their social interaction. They will be evasive. They will start avoiding family. You understand? They will be withdrawing gradually. You see that they're just withdrawing. They don't like staying. Like if you have time that sit all of you together in the house, you see that this one is avoiding. They may come back to the house, but they won't come and join you when you're sitting. Even if they are sitting, they won't want to participate. They won't contribute. Small behaviors like that. Before others now you become manifest. Because when substance use becomes too much, you can now start seeing other problems outside the house. You start stealing, selling off their things. Do you understand? You buy phone for them, every day phone will spoil. Phone has broken. They are the ones always involved in accidents. You hear he fell on bike today, next tomorrow he has had a bike nearly knocked him on the road. Another day it is car that nearly knocked him on the road. Another day it is Akiyah that entered his path. Those are all telltale signs that maybe there is something wrong with the person using. Now, very important from our own experience here is, I think our society, because of how our society is changing, many people think that my problem is my problem. You don't have a right to put what inside my problem. So when you see something wrong with the child, it's none of your business for you to come and tell me. Abi? And even if you come and tell me, I can, what's your own? Who put you inside? Who sent you? Abi? That's the way, that's our society nowadays. You see someone's child doing the wrong thing, but you are afraid to talk to the parents because you don't know how the parents will receive you. Now that, for me, has contributed to why substance use can escalate and the parents will not know. Because everybody in the neighborhood will know that this boy is mixing with bad boys, but everybody is afraid to go and tell the parents. For me, that's where I feel groups like this can come in. Because me and you, we know that as part of amana between neighbors, haki, the rights of one neighbor to another, the right of sister to sister, brother to brother. You are seeing something that you know is going to harm your brother. Look for yourself what you love for your brother, isn't it? It is part of your responsibility. If you are the one with the child, wouldn't you want to be told early so that you can take action? Let us preach to our people. We need to be our brother's keepers. Even if the person will insult you, even if the person will, cut off ties with you, will insult you, will even beat you up, you are doing it not because of the person, but physically because of Allah. Allah ne yace mu rike amana. Do it. Do your own part. Tell them. If the parents are angry or they fight with you or they insult you, leave them. Between them and Allah. Kai dai ka sauke haƙƙi. Haƙƙin da Allah ya ɗora maka, you have done your own. You have done your own part. The one you can help with. Anti-abu that you see that is not good. Isn't it? The Prophet said, you either stop it with your hand, if you cannot, with your mouth. If you cannot, so do your part. If we can do that, because most of the time, the neighborhood, they will know. The megad will know. The driver will know. The next door, you understand, the people's houses that are on the other street where the boys used to go and buy, or where they used to cluster together and smoke and use, they will know. Somebody will know. But people will just keep quiet. They will not be looking at the parents like that. The parents will be walking around thinking that they have the good children that are not doing anything. So if we tell each other, then we can intervene early. Now the intervention can come in several levels. What we recommend is that if, for instance, you are a family member and you find out that your word is using, then you need to first calm yourself down, because definitely your emotions will be high. And when emotions are high, you cannot, there's no way your judgment will be clear. The Prophet has said, when you are angry, you should do what? Calm down. Keep quiet. Don't say anything. Sit down. If you are standing, sit down. If you are sitting, lie down. Isn't it? If I remember the hadith correctly. It is because when we are emotional, our judgment, our head, it doesn't think. It doesn't think well. It doesn't think clearly. That emotion usually clouds our judgment. Do you understand? So the right action that you're supposed to take at that time, over 99% of the time you will not take. Then when you calm down and you think about it very well, you will see that the right thing to do will come to you. It will come to you. So it's very important for us to be able to master how we respond emotionally to issues. So you find out that this is happening, then you need to calm down first and think it through. What is the best way for me to address this issue? One of the things you can do is to take your time, think about it, avoid the person as much as possible. You don't have to let the person know that this is what I heard or I'm already aware. Take your time to think about it. Then what you could do is you invite the person and talk to the person calmly. Do it in trying to understand you want to understand why they are doing it. You don't want to just reel out instruction. No, you stop, you can't be doing this. How can you be my son and be doing this? You are shaming me, you are shaming everybody, you are wasting money, you are doing haram. You need to ask why. Why are you doing this? What is this thing doing for you? Because if you don't understand the reason behind it, you will be immediately problem the one solution that you are offering them. So, and everybody, people use substances, everybody's reason for using substances is different. Well, like, what is unique? Sometimes we see twins, identical twins. They are both using substances, grew up in the same household, very similar, their character the same, everything. But this one's reason for music is different from this one's reason. And unless you individualize it, you will not be able to help the person very well. So ask, find out why. If it is something that you can help the person with, because sometimes it may just be that the environment is so toxic. Maybe the school that the person is going to, he feels pressured. He doesn't have any other friends elsewhere. He feels he needs to he must do this thing, or they have forced him to do it so that he can identify with them. Then you can help the person seek alternative options. You can open up opportunities for the person to make new friends. So you can ask, okay, what kind of friends would you like? Do you have any interests? Are there any hobbies you want to explore? Maybe you want to learn to play basketball. Engage him in a club that does, in a basketball club. Get him busy. Do you understand? So that he can spend less time away from those friends and maybe even make new friends that will have similar interests as him on the basketball court. So you pursue his interests at the same time, make new friends. So there are some things that sometimes we can do to help people that are using substance so that they stop that lifestyle and change. Sometimes it's just coping. They don't know how to cope, how to solve their problems. Like the one living in a toxic, home setting. They don't know how to get guidance or how to escape the family, that toxic family relative. Or maybe it's a stepfather that is very is abusive to them. They don't know how to. They've been keeping it alone and they are now sharing it with you. Then you can find a tactful way. You can help them sort out a tactful way of not spoiling relationships or spoiling, the links that the person doesn't want to spoil. At the same time, easing their difficulty. Maybe you can suggest to them, okay, maybe you should move to a boarding school. At least if you're in boarding school, you spend more time away from the house. You don't have to be in the company of that your uncle or that your stepfather. And because I take the pregani, but sometimes that's what my people say. The dead way you see is neatness. You are not even there to talk more. So there are so many things that you can do to help a person that is a substance use, to help them escape or to solve or at least limit, their reasons, solve their problems so that they don't go back to continue using the substances. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Then, if what you can offer is not enough, and you feel that the person would benefit from professionals, then you refer the person appropriately. You understand? You refer the person appropriately. You can send the person, bring the person, escort the person, come along with the person, be a supportive person. You understand? Just being there, understanding. But for you to do that, the person has to trust you. And you also have to value that trust. You cannot talk about the person's problems with anybody unless they give you permission to talk about it. You're not bound by any oath of secrecy, but I feel this is just what Islam says. Abi, this is just what Islam says. It is what it says. Anybody that takes you in confidence, gives you a man, you must keep it. For us as professionals, we have our own that we have taken. We have to do these things. Do you understand? When a patient tells us something, I have had cases where a mother will bring her young daughter to the hospital. The daughter will tell me things that I cannot put her to the mother. And you understand? I cannot tell the mother. The lady can open mouth and tell me that she has 10 boyfriends, that she's sleeping with all of them. She has had 3 abortions. She has done this, she has done that, she has done this, she has done that. Currently, yesterday she went out to club. Do you understand? She can tell me all these things and the mother is totally oblivious. And if the girl does not give me permission, I cannot tell her. I can't. I have to hold it in confidence. That is what the trust is about. Even though, yes, this is a professional relationship. That's why, why I have to keep it. But even for the sake of a person, I still go, for me, I still refer a lot to the Quran, to the Hadith, because that is what I believe is the guide for the way we live life. And all our medical professionals, all our teaching, what our values are still in tandem with what Islam has already said we should do. You understand? Sirri in wanka, Abi, when you protect the secrets, the bad secrets, Abi, of somebody, of a fellow believer, you have put a cloak of secrecy, because you don't know that person. Maybe he is waiting for guidance to repent, and he's sharing this with you. But then you now just go and take it and give the father or the mother, that will now escalate and take it out of control. Tell everybody, and maybe make the whole matter worse. And the girl will now run away from the house and say to Shike, now I even came to the hospital, this is what they did. They told my mother beat me up, insulted me, disowned me. Why? And me, will I be happy? Because I told the mother now she has disowned her daughter. Is it a good thing? Yes, we tell parents. Do you understand? I'm not saying that we always hide secrets. But what we do is that we make sure we make the person understand the reason, the benefits of telling the parents. And then what we usually do is we provide a situation where the person is the one that will say it themselves. So we can be there. If imagine telling the mother and she gets very angry, if there are only the two of them, she can slap her or even carry knife and cutlass, but if I'm there, is she likely to do it? So we do that. So we will counsel the person and explain to the person why it is important for the parents to know. If the parents need to know, but if the parents don't need to know, if it's something that the person on his own, we can guide him towards repenting, towards stopping and changing their ways, and support the person to truly repent and do tuba and move forward with their life. Wallah, we will do it, and we can have patients for 10 years and we will never tell the parents. We will never tell the family. We won't, because they don't have any need to know. The zunubi that he did between him and Allah, the person is now looking for forgiveness. He wants to close that chapter and move forward with his life. He wants to stop. We have seen people that will tell us they are gay. Do you understand? They will tell us that they are gay. Of course, you will feel uncomfortable inside your mind, but you have to help them. You have to find a way to help them, because they are telling you in confidence, in trust. So even if a person is telling you in trust, then you have to treat it with the utmost respect and secrecy. You have to treat it. Anything you want to do, you want to seek counsel from maybe another sister or another brother in your foundation, in your group, you have to let the person know, so that trust is not violated. Let us always imagine ourselves being in the shoes of the person. How do we want this? How do we want this? If it's us, how would we want us to be handled? If we can consistently behave in that way, it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier. Sometimes we realize some people who all they need is this kind of support. That's all they need. All they need is just that support, that trust, to know that somebody is not going to condemn them and say that you are going to Jahannam. That's all they need. They just need that reassurance that yes, you can still change your life. You can still do something with your life. Just because you have gotten to the bottom does not mean you must remain there forever and you are doomed forever. No. Some of them, that's all you need. And you can help them out of it. As I said, if support that you're giving you cannot do, or you feel you are handicapped, please refer them appropriately to the relevant quarters. And then we can take over. And at this point, I think I want to stop, so that if you have any questions, we quickly take them. Here, it's already time out. And then I will hand you over to the class. Yes. 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 Sir, Emma? Wallahi, the thing is, there are some chemicals in the brain that function to, how do I say? Okay, you see, the same substance. For instance, two people will take cigarette. One will enjoy it, one will not enjoy it. Do you understand? there are some chemicals in the brain that are supposed to be ticked off when a person uses cigarette, for instance. There are chemicals to make a person happy, and then there are chemicals to make a person feel sad. So for some people, inherently, genetically, when they take the substance, the chemicals that are supposed to make the person happy are the ones that become disease. So the person will enjoy the feeling. But for some people, biologically, when they take the cigarette, it is those that will make the person unhappy that will become disease. Do you understand? So the person will not enjoy it. So somebody that did not enjoy it is not likely to use it. So those chemicals, you understand that effect of the cigarette on the brain, those chemicals, which one should the cigarette, the person's brain should respond to the cigarette, that one is the one that the person might inherit. Do you understand? Yes. Yes, adolescence. Very good. Okay. When it gets out of hand. Okay, the thing is, adolescence is a time, as you said, of a lot of exploration, sensation seeking. You want to try new things. You have so many changes are happening. Now that is why at that time, but there's a subspecialty for us in psychiatry called adolescent mental health. Our focus is just on that adolescent period because we know that at that time a lot of things, the sense is a very slippery period that a person can very easily be led astray or be guided. And now that is why, as parents, if you are aware of the sensitivity of that adolescent period, then that's the time for you to be extra vigilant. Do you understand? Extra vigilant. Abi, tell me, they said 7 years mother, 7 to 14 years, they said what? Mother and father, ba? The reason is because that is the time. That's the time the adolescence falls into now. Abi? And so you need the two. The tender loving care from the mother and the strictness from the father. You need that balance so that the person can be guided. Do you understand what I mean? Everywhere. Okay. Available for everybody. Aliyy, you know the problem of drug availability in Nigeria is multiple fold. Do you understand? It's multiple fold, but it has a lot to do with corruption in our country. There are so many law enforcement agencies that are supposed to, if they do the right thing, so we shouldn't have drugs readily available. But everything goes in Nigeria. Everything goes. And remember, these drug dealers, they have money that your head cannot comprehend. They have money. It's a very lucrative money-making business. They control in that. In fact, they have these, these key government people. They sponsor politicians to get them to Senate. They do. They are well connected. Real drug barons in Nigeria. They are very powerful people because they deal in dollars. Nigeria is a transit route because of how porous our country borders are. And with customs, we just pay them money, NDLEA, NAFDAC, we just bribe people and get anything into the country. It's a common transit route. Drugs coming from Asia, cocaine, opioids, whatever. Nigeria is the transit camp. So from Asia, they bring it into Nigeria. From Nigeria, they break it down into smaller pieces. Then Nigerians will now be transporting it in smaller quantities, or smuggling into Europe, into America, into those other places. Do you understand? So the problem, in fact, Allah dey iya mana kawai. Yes, please. Yes. 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 Yeah. Okay. To say when you get there. The thing is, it just depends on you people how you do it. Do you understand? If you reach out to us and say that okay, you want to be doing this and this activity, you write it formally. Once it's accepted and approved by the hospital, it's not a problem. We can find a way to work it out. We do a lot of these volunteer programs. Do you understand? They invite most of us, but it's more individual. I've been invited many times to school organizations. I've gone to MSS in Poli, I've gone to MSS in Kasu. I've been to several organizations. Do you understand? If they just know you, they can invite you as a person and say, okay, we're having this program. Come and give a talk on this. Come and give a talk on mental health, women's mental health or drug abuse or anything. And we honor them. But if you understand, you want to be more educated, you can engage the hospital more formally. The same way you would. Do you understand? And say, okay, this is what you want to do. You like to gain more knowledge of this and this and this particular thing. You want something organized for you, more structured, so that you can take it when you're going to educate people. Do you understand? When you're doing public awareness campaigns and things like that. You can write, it's not a problem. You can write to the hospital. No problem. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Before they bring it into the country. Okay. Carry on. Well, they are trying. You see, if you see what NDLEA are doing, you understand. If you see what they are doing, they have this program. I follow them on X. They have this weekly program. They sensitize the public on what they've done or what they are doing. Seizures, you understand, at ports, at airports, seaports, in town. Do you understand? If you see the amount of work they are doing it, but every day drug dealers are devising new ways of getting it. It still boils down to money. Do you understand? I told you that there's a lot of money involved in it. A lot of money. A large number of these people that you see somebody will just blow one day. You understand? You see him today, next year you see the person has become a multi-billionaire. I'm not saying all of them are into drugs, but a large number. It's one of the fastest and easiest ways you can make money. It involves risk taking. They take a lot of risks, but NDLEA is trying. You understand? NAFDAC is trying. They are all trying, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Control is not enough. Do you understand? Control is like you are trying to solve the problem after it has manifested. For some of us, we prefer to focus on prevention. Prevent the problem. These drugs, it is people that are using it, isn't it? So let us prevent people from using it. If there are no people to use it, then why would they bring it into the country? Why will it be a lucrative business if there are people that are not patronizing it? Do you get what I mean? So we feel that it's a lot more cost effective to prevent substance use than to control it. Even these services that I was telling you about 400,000 is control that we're doing. It's because the problem has already manifested. All the money that goes into NDLEA, you know how much is their annual budget? It goes into billions of naira that can be used for something else. But we are using it primarily just for drug use. Do you understand? Nigerian problem, you get layers, plenty layers. Do you understand? For us, everybody just does what you can. Do what you can in your small capacity. Do your own. Leave the rest to the Almighty. Shikadeki the power. You understand? Do your own. The one you can help with it. The one you can do. The one you can prevent. The one you can stop. Do it. Do your own shikena. But the problem is multiple. Hayatudeen. That's my son name. That's what I'm called in the hospital. Dr. Hayatudeen. Hayatudeen. That's what I'm known as. Known with in the hospital.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
We really appreciate for your presence because the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad says that whoever do not give thanks to man cannot give thanks to Almighty Allah. So we really appreciate your efforts and the enlightenment you have given us so much. In fact, both two sides, you educate us, we really appreciate because, in fact, I believe you have talked even about our deen. Because there is what you mentioned just now that about secrets and also giving discernment to others if they want them to change. And I realize that Sadaqa Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he said, لا تأمرون الناس بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر أو لا يشقن الله عذابا أليما ثم تدعون فلا يستجيب. I believe the situation we are now, we are because we have kept silence to give the sermon we are asking to do. So that is the problem. And again, we also educate us about how to live our own life, not to involve or how to nourish offspring our children also. So I believe the members have been listening a lot from you, and I think you have seen everything of which we expect from you. But may Almighty Allah elevate your status and also accept the act of your ibadat, the one you have contributed to even other religions entirely. May Almighty Allah reward you and genetize you, and also grant you long life and also protect your family. So because you have tell us a lot which we have pondered over that you have contributed to the society, and even people who are coming here, their own lifestyle that doesn't even concern you. Some of people you have attended to, some of them now, it has maybe some years ago you haven't even glanced your eyes on them, but maybe they are living fine out of what you have shared with them. So for that, the Almighty Allah also do more to your family. Because the Prophet Muhammad says that whoever has guide a one person, just as he have guide the whole nation. So definitely, the Almighty Allah accept that as a guidance to others, and also count you among the righteous and the pious people in hereafter. So we really appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. This is my colleague. His name is Dr. Hassan. He's a consultant psychiatrist. He's one of the organs in charge of the rehabilitation ward. So he will be guiding you, will be escorting you to the ward. So he will give you a little orientation. He's also my learned colleague. He's very unassuming. He doesn't look like even a doctor, Abi. He looks very simple. Yes. He's also very, very learned. So he will he was the one I called. So he will be going with you, please you pardon me. I will have to leave. I have an appointment in town. So I have to leave. So at this point, since it's already Zuhur time, I was thinking that maybe you could all pray before now proceeding to the data ward. The ward is very close to the mosque itself. So he will guide you in Babudamwa if I can hand you over to him at this time. Thank you very much.
سيدنا وآله الكرماء وصحبه الزهداء. أنت الكريم وقد وجهت يا صمد إلى عطائك وجها سئلا ويدا، وللرجاء ثواب أنت تعلم، فاجعل ثوابي دوام الستر لي أبدا، فاجعل ثوابي دوام الستر لي أبدا. وقد مددت يدي بالذل مشتاكيا إليك يا خير من مدت إليه يدا، علمت أنك ذو جود وذو كرم، هيئ لنا ربنا من أمرنا رشدا. وقد مددت يدي بالذل مشتكيا إليك يا خير من مدت إليه يدا، علمت أنك ذو جود وذو كرم، هيئ لنا ربنا من أمرنا رشدا. وقد مددت يدي بالذل مشتكيا إليك يا خير من مدت إليه يدا، علمت أنك ذو جود وذو كرم، هيئ لنا ربنا من أمرنا رشدا. وقد مددت يدي بالذل مشتكيا إليك يا خير من مدت إليه يدا، علمت أنك ذو جود وذو سيدنا.
So once again, welcome to the Neuro-psychiatric hospital, Kaduna. Yeah, my sister, my teacher, senior colleague told me that some people are here, they want to know certain things about substance, addiction or whatsoever, and that I should please assist to see you people. So I don't know you from which organization, what specifically do you want? So I know that she has discussed with you, and I know she must have told you everything more than what you need, sincerely. So I will not take your time. I won't waste your time with so much English, because I'm sure you've gotten that. Okay. However, if there's anything maybe practical, I would like to show you. You understand? Briefly. Of course, a day visit will not be enough to know everything about addiction or about what we do in treatment. But at least it will serve as an eye opener, so that you understand something better for your own, as well as also if you want to advise or you want to counsel somebody regarding the use of psychoactive substances. Okay? So before we start within the few minutes, I would like to know who are you and then where you come from.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala ahlihi wa sahbihi wa man wallahu wa man tabi'a bi ihsanihi ila yawmi din. Wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
First
and foremost, we would like to thank you so much for giving us your time. We ask Almighty Allah to reward you abundantly. So we are from Muslim M.U.Global charity home, Kaduna, Nigeria. So just thinking of accomplish what the lovely Prophet Muhammad have ordered us to do, and among the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad they used to visit the sick ones, and again, for us to come here and visit, we also want enlightenment and to educate ourselves too, so that we get to know about how to make our own move. So that is why we requested for orientation, so which I believe we have gotten from our honorable doctor.
Hayatudeen.
So, but presently, what we want is that we want to visit the sick ones that is in the world, so that we can also call the delight Almighty Allah have granted us, which we are not thankful about it, because for us to be healthy, thinking of coming here with good health conditions, there are others who are suffering and suffocating, and in fact when they see us they feel like as if they can also be in this kind of manner. So, and also we can also follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad by praying for them, and we take our leave, inshallah.
So right, thank you so much for the update. And I also want to thank you for that, and may Allah reward you abundantly for your action, and for what you do, because it's part of the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu to do that. And this is a very good one. It's a wonderful and welcome idea. It's all right. This ward is a ward that where we admit patients, people that found themselves abusing psychoactive substance, abusing drug. And of course, when people come for rehabilitation, we usually have another ward where we admit them for what we call detoxification, so that those that have some impairment in their mental state and their capacity to think and to reason and be able to manage that. Okay? And then subsequently, if there are other substances within their system, that time will give their body opportunity to metabolize, to, I don't know the normal language, to eliminate, let me use, after processing the drugs, to eliminate some of those drugs. Once somebody is a bit stable, to be able to follow through, then we move them here. This is where we do them, the program of rehabilitation. We educate people about the drug use, as well as also how to manage the substance use, and with the hope that when they finish their program, they can be able to live their life free of substance. They can be able to go back to their normal activities. Those that are in school, they can be able to go back to school. Those that are working or they are into any particular business, they can be able to go back accordingly. Okay, so this is what we do. I will briefly discuss with them. Of course, it's okay to do that, but we have a lot of policies. You don't just bank to enter to see somebody admission without usually the consent of the management or the patient. Sometimes, you understand, not everybody would like you to visit him. You understand? Even though of course it's sunnah, it's normal to visit the sick. Yes. But this kind of illnesses sometimes, that some of them are not so natural. Some are self-inflicted. People use their monies to buy this drug, and then at the end it causes harm to them. So not everybody may want you just to come and see him in the state. Probably you know him or you know her outside, and they never knew that the person is abusing drugs. You understand? So the person will not want to do that. And also, one of the principles in health care practice is what we call confidentiality. You understand? Whereby whatever you discuss, whatever you see in your patient is categorically confidential. What we mean is that you don't discuss it outside. You understand? You don't judge people. And nobody has immunity to any situation. This one that is abusing drugs, it's not because the person is weak. Sometimes we see it based on the moral ground. Okay? But it's more than that. I'm sure she must have discussed with you, my sister there, that as part of the cause of drug abuse and mental illness is beyond just your own personal wish and your capacity. There are so many factors, including genetic factors, that are associated with it. So somebody may be able to willingly or confidently be able to resist certain temptations in life, or even if maybe he smokes or she smokes, or maybe found himself or herself abusing a particular drug, the person can be able to say, from today I will not do it again. Others cannot, because of so many factors, including biological, including genetic issues, and of course so many other things that we are not going to discuss here. So nevertheless, we as healthcare professionals, we see it as illness, okay, and that's why they need treatment. So I want to plead with you. I will may likely call some, or may just maybe go and see some, so that you can just see maybe the word. But I plead with you to be as responsible as possible. You understand? I know you are, for you to follow the sunnah of the Prophet, to be able to see that yes, I want to do this because I need reward. You have a high level of discipline, so that one should be maintained. You understand? Even by chance, if you see someone that you know, you shouldn't see that as a weakness. Or this person that I know has been abusing drugs, or this person is the no. You understand? Just see it as a part of trial of life. You understand? As part of trial, so that you can also ponder, and you can also thank Almighty Allah for guiding you and keeping you safe. Understand? To be able to stay alive and to stay healthy. Okay, so with that, I'm sure maybe you will benefit by the visit, but not by judging others. This one is doing this one because he's not morally upright, or it is not maybe religiously knowledgeable, or it's not spiritually enough, not to resist the temptation of abusing drugs and whatsoever. Okay, so it's all right. So I think maybe we can just go. We'll just see. I will tell the nurses. Okay, so that briefly it won't take time. Here we have Initially, we built 2 of these for the rehabilitation. We call this data ward. Data means drug and alcohol treatment, education, and research. Okay, that's the abbreviation DATER. Okay, where we treat people with the drug use problems. So initially we have 2 like this. We have built 1 for male, the other side 1 for female. So this is supposed to be for female only. Okay, but of course due to the cultural pain, many of the female that are into substance use in this part of the world, because of the religious and cultural, there is this shy. They don't usually come for rehabilitation. They usually come, we see them, very few even present to hostel, and those that present usually they don't agree for admission. So this was a kind of a waste, understand, because if you don't have enough patient to admit, you cannot keep so many nurses, so many doctors when there are not enough patient to manage. So we were using the only male side the other time, and then we just allocated a particular ward for the females. Okay, most of the time that you see that there are not maybe more than 4 or 5 at a time. So we just allocated a particular ward for them. Okay, and then we use the larger chunk of the bed space for male, who of course abuse drug more than female. Even though they say what man can do, the women also they abuse drugs like men. Okay, but of course the male do it more based on the statistic. So we are renovating the other ward. We recently relocated to this female side, while the other one is under renovation, supposed to be. So here too we have 2 wards, this side and this side, about 36 beds. Okay, we have 18, I think, no, 16, no, 18. 18 here, 18 there, are all for males. That's about 36. And we have a ward, just about 4 or 5 beds for female that are here. We have where we do the program, the session. We do a lot of programs that can build people's self-confidence so that they can be able to live an independent life when they finish the treatment. Okay, well, if along the way they also have some comorbidity, they have other illnesses we treat at the same time. Okay, so I won't take much of your time. Maybe let me just talk to the nurses so that we can just see briefly, and then we can come back here. If you have any question, you ask me. If you don't have any question, then I can allow you to go. Okay. Bismillah. Yeah, so you can close by 4. By 4. So this is one of the wards. See.
Okay, is it all the ward that is on break now?
Yes, everybody in the house here. Okay, everybody is here. Yeah, Johnny. Anybody? Huh? So they are on break. Okay, this is one hour. Okay.
الحمد لله ما دام الوجود له حمدا يبلغنا منه الرضا أبدا ثم الصلاة على المختار سيدنا وآله الكرماء وصحبه